Afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is the market wrap for March 21st, 2019. Qs just closed up 1.5%, and SPY one just up a little over 1%. We did notice the SPY was lagging the Qs a little bit yesterday. That continues to be the case today. Tech leading the way higher on the Qs and SPY. We did identify where potentially we could lose the bullish bias, right? Underneath yesterday's low on the Qs, underneath the base on the SPY, and instead both, right, underneath this base, decided to continue the rally. So we'll continue to do what we've been doing as we've been on the right side of the market throughout this uptrend. And so what that means now is after this run up, we do expect a little bit of a pullback. We could base out sideways. That would be as bullish as it gets, that it doesn't even want to budge. I think the more likely scenario is we get a small pullback, a little bit of retracement. Okay. And then from there, as the pullbacks have been, will be buyable, right? As we just continue the uptrend on the Qs and SPY. We could top out another way, which is something to be on the lookout for, is that we accelerate. That we put in a blow-off top, like a temporary blow-off top here on the hourly or the 15, okay? But I think it's a bit early to say we are extended. So going into tomorrow, knowing that we've had such a nice day today, I'm expecting just a little bit of a pullback. Typically, in the market, after a wide range bar, we typically get a narrow range bar and also often an inside bar. So those could be, what we get tomorrow could be both as well. That's pretty common, but more likely just a narrow range day. And then quite often also a narrow and inside day. Okay, so that just means that going into tomorrow a little bit more neutral. Okay, long-term bullish, short-term neutral, because we had the nice move, and so time to initiate longs has come and went. Okay, so hopefully we're clear on the market. There are a couple of things that we can look for, but I'm thinking that the most likely scenario is some semblance of a rest. All right, so let's get into today's plays, which was only one symbol for me. Called this twice on the CAG. Was a pro gap clearing resistance here to the left on the daily. They did have earnings into a bit of price void here. I wanted to see as much retracement of this red bar as I could. And so we kind of let this go in the open and take off there. Got a rally right out the gate, and then we set up this little bit of a base. So I did call this initially, and then it didn't trigger, came down instead. I was looking for this type base to play over this. Didn't trigger, came in instead, and then once it came in and then was able to recover, then called it. So here was the CAG, the first time that it actually triggered over 65. It did get up to, I think, 80 is the 2580, I think is where, the 77, 2577. Oh no, and then it kind of moved back up. Yeah, so we were looking okay right here. Got up to 2582. But I was looking for closer to the highs there, around 26. The high was 2617. I was looking for something closer to 26. And ended up, didn't work. Okay, came in, took out the stop, so that play was done. Just came in. And so after that, kind of looked around, looked for some other plays to set up. Didn't really like a whole lot going into the second quarter of the day and then going into lunch until this started to recover. So you can see that was off the 1 minute. And then we kind of got this nice setup on the 5 minute. So I think I called this CAG officially 4 times and 2 of them triggered. So I called it as a breakout over this base. Nice curling 20 MA underneath. Thought that was pretty nice, and then had to cancel because it came in instead. So we needed new numbers. And then finally, once it came back up, looked ready to break, had another call on this. So you can see the bottom here, that is going to be 35. So that's where the stop's going to go now. And the entry is going to go over the top of the base. Okay, so finally we got this CAG and just a really nice grind here. We got up into this 26. Of course, I would have preferred to see it just break and take through the highs, but with that kind of grind higher, and we got in down here, trailed it 5-minute bar by bar, trailed half there, and then finally closed the last piece here shortly before the close, because it is a day trade, not meant to be held swing. Although, from the longer term chart, it does look higher. But the intention was to get as much out of this as a day trade as we could. And so as far as the management, I think this was a pretty simple management. I think the only thing really that could have been tricky was whether to take it all up here or not, and try to play for more. And then the market was still grinding higher, so I did want to hold a little bit, kind of just held it, came in, let it pivot. And so actually, if we kind of taken it like on an earlier trail or taken it where we did before the close, it wouldn't really have made much of a difference. But this was able to help recover that play from the morning. And the management wasn't too bad here on the play up. So, you know, I just thought that today was kind of a slow-paced day, that you had to be either patient and wait for your shot, or, you know, like this MU was given out in the morning as an idea to be played long, that if you played this MU in the morning, then on a bullish day like today, where the market is trending, trend day, right? Then try to hang on to the longs for as long as you can. We've talked about how we manage the all-day trends and how the hourly bar by bar is the easiest that I've found to keep me in them. And you can see on the CAG, that's also why we were in it to the close, because the hourly bar lows never broke. So even though we did take half on the move up, just wanted to see if this was going to break or not to prove that we should get out of it, and it didn't. So we saw, you know, on a day like today where the market's trending higher, you're going to see a lot of stuff like that, right? Where, sorry, not CM, just CMC. You're going to see a lot of just all-day trends following with the market. So, you know, I think that today, you know, is one of those days that either maybe you weren't that active, you were being patient and picking your shots, or if you got something early to the long side, could have been pretty nice. So, you know, I think what this week has confirmed for me is what I kind of suspected and maybe even harped on a little bit too much on Monday, was that it's time to be picky, pick your shots, not overtrade, right? And just make the shots count to the best that you can. Because if you kind of get down and struggle a little bit, not necessarily even out of making mistakes, that the fewer opportunities that we have now than we did during earnings season makes it harder to recover. So just want to be picky, okay? I wasn't sure if Monday was just because it was a Monday, but having traded through the rest of the week and not been that active, I've been, you know, calling plays every day, but not as many plays as I was calling even last week, and especially the week before. That is just, you know, we have to know what the pace of the market is, know what the quality and the frequency of the good opportunities are, and trade accordingly, okay? So hopefully you did have a good day today. I think lots of longs got good follow through. So hopefully some of you were able to catch them. And then also, if you kind of struggled in the morning, got a chance to get that back and recover. But if not, we'll be back at it tomorrow to close out the week. Okay, just keep in mind, same thing as I said Monday, as that I've confirmed this week. You know, you just want to be picky. Try to only play kind of the highest quality, the best fitting of your strategies and entries, and kind of not get sucked into too many lower quality plays and getting chopped up here and there. Okay? All right. So I hope you have a good evening, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Good night, everyone.